Hello and welcome to this video. My name's Kris and I first discovered my first ever grey hairs, which I do have quite prevalent through here, I'm sure you can see it, when I was about 26, 27 years old, which coincidentally was when I started working in general practice. Is this a coincidence? I think yes. Have you ever really thought about what a grey hair is, why they occur, or what it actually means? I have, and I'm here to talk about it, so if you're interested, please keep watching. Firstly, let's talk about hair. When I say hair, the majority of you will think about this, right? The hair on your head. Some of us have exceptionally long hair, some have short, some have it wavy, some have it dead straight, some are naturally brunette, blonde, black. There are so many variations to hair on the head. But there are also so many variations to hair everywhere else. Yes, most people will think about then the hair that is often removed. Eyebrows, mustaches, beards, axilla, pubic area, leg hair. But we've got hair everywhere, even where you can't see it. Without looking for it, of course, you can still see it. Our bodies are covered in millions upon millions of hair follicles, which, as the name suggests, generate hair. And the color of hair, or the pigment of hair, is determined within those follicles by something called melanin, made by melanocytes. There are two types of melanin, eumelanin and pheomelanin. That diversity of color I spoke about before really comes about due to a varying ratio of pheomelanin and eumelanin. A lack of melanin, lack of color. It is a little bit more complicated than that though, but this is kind of in a nutshell, right? Because what I won't touch on today is hair cycles and the different phases that hair goes through, from growth to shedding to the production of the actual color in different stages. But just know that it's pretty complicated. I'm dialing it down. We're touching on melanin more than anything. So there are actually scientific words for the graying of hair. There's a chromotrichia, which is a tricky word to say, and canites or canitides. Again, this is a word I've only ever read. I've never actually had to pronounce it or hear it pronounced. Graying of hair is natural. It is normal and it is a part of the aging process. I know everyone kind of wants to defy aging and find that fountain of youth, but my personal opinion, just to like intersect in here and divert for a little bit, is getting older is a privilege and graying hair is part of it. And of course, you know, you can dye your hair and stuff, which we will get to about managing graying hair. But I try not to see it as a negative thing, like, oh, my hair's turning gray, I'm getting old. I'm like, yay, I'm actually older, I've actually made it to my 30s, woohoo! Anyway, that's like my personal soapbox aside, put that away. Let's continue talking about graying hairs. So, as I said, it is a normal part of aging, but the premature graying of hairs is still poorly understood. Now, what do I mean by premature? When would you expect hair to grey and when is it too early? Well, there's a lot of things, and one of the main things that contributes to the normal time that hair should or will grey is actually your race and ethnicity. So for example, it is not uncommon for Caucasians to have greying hair in their 20s. If you, I guess, start seeing grey hair in, say, your teenage years, that may be considered a premature greying. This is in comparison to, say, the African American population, where the average age of greying hair starts in their 30s. So if they start greying in their 20s, this could be seen as premature greying as well. But your race and ethnicity is not the only genetic confounding factor that really determines when you will start to grey. Your family history matters. When did mum and dad start going grey? And then there are some factors that are what we call modifiable or potentially modifiable. So smoking. Smokers are known to grey earlier. Some medications and treatments like chemotherapy are known to cause greying of hair. Some autoimmune conditions can also predispose someone to having grey hair earlier. And there are some vitamin and mineral deficiencies that can also predispose someone to greying early, such as lack of vitamins B6, B12, iron, copper, vitamin D, and vitamin E. Finally, stress. But not quite. So there's conflicting evidence in the research that talks about stress and its impact on the hair cycle and the production of melanin. Because again, remember, graying of hair is melanin, or the lack of eumelanin and pheomelanin causing, graying of hairs. And really, there's no clear line between how much stress you have and when you start to gray, or how much you start to gray. So do I blame entering general practice for when I started to go gray? On a bad day, yes. On a good day, no, absolutely not. So a couple of myths I just want to quickly dispel, or at least one big one. Plucking a grey hair does not mean that 3 will take its place. There is no evidence behind that. If you want to pluck your hair, go for it. Speaking of, that does lead us very nicely into how do we manage greying hair prematurely even, or just in general? Well, of course, if you can modify your risk factors, so stop smoking, make sure you're eating a healthy, rich diet, or investigating if you do have any deficiencies, that may be able to help. But once you've started, so like these little strands I have, they'll never go back to being brown. That's okay. The thing is, grey hair, it's not dangerous. It is purely cosmetic. And I don't mean to say that to undermine the stress that some people have when they turn grey. I appreciate that for some people, it is a really emotional and psychologically stressful time to see their bodies change. I'm not trying to undermine that. However, it is purely cosmetic. There is no medical reason to cover up your grey hairs. So really, the mainstay of treatment? Hair dye. Sadly, the evidence about some minerals like biotin and zinc, it's really not there. So taking them as a supplement probably won't help at all. It won't necessarily hurt, but it's not going to help. So there you have it, guys. Grey hairs. Stress related? Probably not. Genetic? Mostly. Cosmetic? That's about it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any topics you want me to cover, let me know. But until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in a video very soon.